Empowering women is key to building a future we want. Economic growth without investment in human development is unsustainable and unethical. Poverty is not just a lack of money. It is not having the capability to realize one's full potential as a human being. Poverty is the deprivation of opportunity. Freedoms are not only the primary ends of development, they are also among its principal means. Globalization is a complex issue, partly because economic globalization is only one part of it. Globalization is greater global closeness, and that is cultural, social, political, as well as economic. I believe that virtually all the problems in the world come from inequality of one kind or another. No famine has ever taken place in the history of the world in a functioning democracy. Democracy is a universal value. The success of a society is to be evaluated primarily by the freedoms that members of the society enjoy. You have to be interested in inequality. The issue of inequality and that of poverty are not separable. Imparting education not only enlightens the receiver, but also broadens the giver, the teachers, the parents, the friends. A defeated argument that refuses to be obliterated can remain very alive. No substantial famine has ever occurred in any independent and democratic country with a relatively free press. The market economy succeeds not because some people's interests are suppressed and other people are kept out of the market, but because people gain individual advantage from it. We live in a world where there is a need for pluralistic institutions and for recognizing different types of freedom, economic, social, cultural, and political, which are interrelated. We need to ask the moral questions: do I have a right to be rich, and do I have a right to be content living in a world with so much poverty and inequality? These questions motivate us to view the issue of inequality as central to human living. There is considerable evidence that women's education and literacy tend to reduce the mortality rates of children. A society can be Pareto optimal and still perfectly disgusting. Unceasing change turns the wheel of life, and so reality is shown in all its many forms. Dwell peacefully as change itself liberates all suffering sentient beings and brings them great joy. Starvation is the characteristic of some people not having enough food to eat. It is not the characteristic of there being not enough food to eat. If a theory of justice is to guide reasoned choice of policies, strategies, or institutions, then the identification of fully just social arrangements is neither necessary nor sufficient. Resenting the obtuseness of others is not good ground for shooting in the foot. To say that the whole of the industrial experience of Europe and America just shows the rewards of exploiting the third world is a gross simplification. Violence is fomented by the imposition of singular and belligerent identities on gullible people, championed by proficient artisans of terror. Famines occur under a colonial administration, like the British Raj in India, or for that matter in Ireland, or under military dictators in one country after another, like Somalia and Ethiopia, or in one-party states like the Soviet Union and China. We might have reason to be driven. We live for a short stretch of time in a world we share with others. Virtually everything we do is dependent on others, from the arts and culture to farmers who grow the food we eat. While I am interested both in economics and in philosophy, the union of my interests in the two fields far exceeds their intersection. Economics, as it has emerged, can be made more productive by paying greater and more explicit attention to the ethical considerations that shape human behavior and judgment. I was told Indian women don't think like that about equality, but I would like to argue that if they don't think like that, they should be given a real opportunity to think like that. Development consists of the removal of various types of unfreedoms that leave people with little choice and little opportunity of exercising their reasoned agency. The removal of substantial unfreedoms, it is argued here, is constitutive of development.